What's going on, Virgo? How are you doing? Hope you're doing super well. This is the Autistic Mystic, and this is going to be a reading for August 29th to September 4th, 2022. So in this reading, Virgo, we're going to take a look at your overall general energy, some things you do not see coming, and also get some advice from your angels and spirit guides regarding August 29th to September 4th, 2022. But before we begin this reading, Virgo, as always, I want to take a moment to let you know that you are very welcome here in this space with me as we go through this reading. And I really do appreciate you in advance for taking the time to check this reading out. Now, if this general reading happens to resonate with you, Virgo, definitely smash that like button, subscribe down below if you have not already for future updates. That would also be greatly appreciated over here, Virgo. Now, as well, if you're on Instagram, Virgo, be sure to go follow my official Instagram account. The link is in the description box below, and cheers to you if I see you over on Instagram, Virgo. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this reading. I'm going to pull the energy for August 29th to September 4th for you, Virgo, and see what wants to come through. So let's go. As always, I would like to thank the angels, the interdimensional beings, and the spirit guides who are overseeing this act of divination for the sign of Virgo. One more. All right. Yeah, let's go ahead and lay out these cards. I'm already getting stuff, but let's go ahead and lay out these cards and see what we got going on for you, Virgo. Okay. All right, Virgo. So it looks like a very good reading here in terms of making progress towards your highest destiny. That's how I'm being worded it here. But the thing that wanted to come through immediately, Virgo, is definitely there's this idea of you maybe struggling with the idea of like, who is my true self at my core? Because there's this idea coming through that in order for you to attract the people, the circumstances, the career that you really need to be, that are meant to be, destined to be with that Wheel of Fortune here in your life, the things that your soul chose, the thing that, or if you don't believe in that, the things that you would resonate with. There's this idea from the 29th to the 4th of like, I know that in order to attract those things, I have to be my true self. But the problem is a lot of you don't know what that true self is. Now, you of course know it on a certain level, okay? Because on a certain level, you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not anything in this illusionary Maya world, right? You can't lose yourself in this world, but we did come here to have an experience in this world. I know that it seems very real, but when you go to heaven and die, you're going to realize, oh shit, that shit was kind of just like a video game. But what I'm saying to you is that a lot of you actually, for the 29th to the 4th, are going to have a renewed enthusiasm about discovering who is my true core soul self, and how do I want to express it in this reality? What did my soul come here to express in physical reality? Instead of thinking you know that already, and some of you don't know, you realize, yeah, I really don't know what it is, but be open, Virgo, to something to surprise you about who you are and something like that. So like, let's go ahead and get into this, but because I feel like a lot of you aren't really feeling your life right now, and you're like, I know there's more, but how do I get it? Now, I'll help you do that, but right, so we have the Knight of Wands here, Virgo, as your opportunity. So with this Knight of Wands, it's a very exploratory energy. You know, the energy of knighthood here is being willing to die for a higher cause. You know, it's all about valor. grace, movement, and being able to sacrifice yourself for a higher ideal. That's the true energy of knighthood. I see all these readers talking about knights, about these immature people. Yeah, they're immature, but they're also willing to die for a king. Who's the king? The only king that I know of is God, is the highest dimension. That's the only person I worship. I don't worship any humans. I worship not even myself, because when people say, oh, like people are, you are God. It's like, well, yeah, you're God, but there's in this dimension, there's higher dimensions and other beings above and beyond us. So those are the ones who are going to give you the information. But there's some sort of thing with the opportunity, the Knight of Wands. It's like you have to be willing to you don't have to be willing to die for your highest ideal. If some of you have lives and other responsibilities, right? But like at a certain point, what are you willing to sacrifice, and are you willing to be experimental? With this opportunity being the Knight of Wands, Virgo, like there's some sort of thing about, there's an opportunity to move out there, to understand, okay, maybe I don't know what I want, but I'm going to figure it out. Like the Knight of Wands is someone who's on a quest, someone who's very loyal to a higher ideal, whatever that ideal may be for you. It's going to be different for all of us, right? But you also have the Sun here in your challenge, so that's what I'm saying, like there seems to be something that's not clear here in your challenge, the Sun. There seems to be, for others of you though, there could be something that you know that you have to do, that you're not doing it, because the Sun represents clarity, okay, in your challenge. And there could be something you have to do, but you're still just not doing it. For others of you, if that's not resonant here, then definitely what's coming through, Virgo, is that things seem very unclear at this time as to who is my true self, because I know that like in order to attract an amazing life, you have to be the real you, because then other people can't even see you. The universe doesn't respect you. It's not that the universe doesn't respect you. The universe is interested in expansion, and I'm not here to tell you what expansion is. Well, I mean, I could, but like that would be a whole nother video. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on, and we're going to clarify that. Let's move on to your overall general energy here, Virgo. You have the 9 of Cups, you have the 2 of Pentacles, and you also have the 3 of Pentacles here in your overall general energy. So I do sense this feeling of like you being fed up with your work for some of you, like knowing that it's not your true purpose, like you're just doing something maybe to get a paycheck, but you know that it's not actually aligned with your highest destiny. And so there's this growing pain of like of double life here, like not knowing what to do. As well with this 2 of Pentacles is kind of like not knowing, kind of things up in the air, and it's right next to that 9 of Cups. This is all about deep individual satisfaction and contentment, and also the ability to attract things to you based on synchronicity. And this is in your overall general energy. I think that a lot of you are attracting to yourself synchronicity, but there is also a thing about negative synchronicity, so that it gives you an idea that maybe you need to tweak some things. But you are having synchronicity. It definitely looks good. Some of you could be having a lot of productivity in career, but at the same time, there's deeper questions, and I'm excited to help you get to the bottom of it here, Virgo. But in terms of what you don't see coming, you have all this stuff. You have the 9 of Wands, you have the High Priestess. This is a centerpiece to your reading, the High Priestess. And you also have the Page of Cups here. Okay, so here's the thing. There could be like love going on right now, but it's like, if you're getting love from someone right now, it's like you're kind of like on this quest to like root yourself. And it's not that you have to like completely know who you are. You're always changing, so you want to be open to that. But what I'm telling you is there's some sort of unfinished intuitive path that you're meant to go down in your life. Okay, the 9 of Wands is unfinished business. Some of you, I mean, you could have unfinished business with a lover coming back, past love coming back, but overall here, I see you, the High Priestess is all about psychic knowing. Like, you know something's happening here, and there's a lot of like these unseen forces in this reading, because now when we move, and we're going to clarify, but when we move on to the advice from your spirit guide, you have the King of Swords, you have the Wheel of Fortune, and you also have the Star. The first thing that came through is just make a decision to go and chase after your destiny. And I did say chase because you have that Knight energy. You do have to make things happen. If it were easy, if it were to just fall in your lap, you wouldn't even like it. Do you even realize that? That if you were to just shift you into a reality where you were your complete self and it just magically happened without you doing anything, which you can do, by the way. It's called Eckhart Tolle. It's called presence. It's called completely dropping the mind. I mean, you can do that, but then it comes in waves. It's a little bit different. But I'm talking for the quest of like the main people that are watching this, the main audience. If you were to just be given your highest destiny without putting in any work for it, you'd take it for granted. It wouldn't even be any fun. Now, of course, unless you're in presence, then of course it would be the most ecstatic thing ever. When I mean presence, go read The Power of Now. If you don't know what I'm talking about with that, the presence thing, and Eckhart Tolle, go read The Power of Now and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Because we get lost in these ideas of what is my destiny? What is my highest purpose? Your highest purpose in your destiny is to be present in the moment at all times. That's your primary purpose. Then your secondary purpose is what you do in the external world. But that comes to you only when you're present, right? So like, we all have pre-birth agreements. We all have certain unseen forces that influence the way that our life goes. Like, you think that life is random. You may be going off the scientific model, well, energy, everything's random. No, actually, no, sorry to break it to you. But like at certain phases of your life, your soul who chose into this body and the whole experience knew that it would come across certain people, circumstances at certain times. It was part of the plan. The problem is that there's this counter plan nowadays with all these archons and these negative entities and these kind of like elite people who are taking people off those pre-birth agreement plans, because the only way to get to those pre-birth agreement plans, that destiny, is to stay present, so you can have an intuition, so you can actually recognize when something's happening. But if you're just in a derp state and you're scrolling through social media 10 hours a day and you're just stuck at a job that you hate and you're surrounded by people who are just a bunch of derps, well, then you've lost to a agenda. So there's a war here. This is a matter of life and death. And basically, that's why I'm having this King of Swords. That's why that came through, because the King of Swords is here. Like, that's who's talking to you right now. And basically, there's all this going on. So let's keep going here, Virgo. And let's clarify. Let's clarify why this Knight of Wands is your opportunity. All right, Knight of Wands, the Knight of Wands in your opportunity. What does everyone who knows tarot know about the Knight of Wands? It's that it's someone who maybe makes a big promise, but who actually can't lead up to it. That is an energy here. But guess what? Oh this is so beautiful. The Knight of Wands, the energy of the Knight of Wands, Virgo, is that it's someone who maybe talks a lot of shit, who gets a lot of shit going, but then they don't really follow through. They have all this potential, they have power to do shit, but then they just get lost. They may be a little bit immature, to be fair about that argument I was talking about, the Knight of Wands. But here's the thing. The Knight of Wands in your opportunity is to talk a big game to the universe, to up your level, to make an intention, set your intention super high. I will have $50 million by the year 2029. And then, why not do that? Like, what else are you doing? You listening to Bobby Bo, who's telling you to that's unrealistic. No, fuck you, Bobby Bo. So anyway, let's clarify why this Knight of Wands is here. Bo. Cartoon Network. Fuck that, I'm Nickelodeon. All right, why is the Knight of Wands here? Yes, okay. Well, that Nine of Wands keeps coming out. Two more here, Virgo. Why is the Knight of Wands here? Sometimes if you make, basically what I was trying to say is sometimes if you make a big promise to yourself, you have to keep up with it. So why not just talk shit and then don't just talk it, then walk it. Like, you have to walk it like you talk it, You can't just talk shit and then not do anything. But because there's an opportunity to be the Knight of Wands, at this phase in your life, it may be beneficial to you to talk a bunch of shit. Even if you feel like you don't have what it takes to live up to it, talk a bunch of shit. Ruin your reputation. Try to set a goal. It's better than what you're doing now. Okay, why isn't it? Sorry, but I have to clarify these things. Why is the Knight of Wands here? Why is the Knight of Wands here? All right, the Knight of Wands is clarified by the Three of Wands, the Knight of Wands, the High Priestess, the King of Cups, the Page of Cups, and also the Seven of Swords in your opportunity. So yeah, you may have to embody that immature energy. You may have to have people think that you're doing something a little bit sketchy here. I mean, the Knight of Wands clarified by the Knight of Wands. Whenever a duplicate comes out, that's my confirmation from Spirit as I set the calibration before I go into these readings that I was on point with what I was saying about the Knight of Wands. So we really don't need to clarify much. But I mean, Three of Wands, make plans to do something big, maybe travel. And listen, you have the High Priestess coming out twice now. It's the centerpiece to your reading, and you have it here again, Virgo. So, and you also have the King of Cups. Be full of love when you do this. So, I mean, I don't know, this is very intense, but basically, all right, let's keep going here. What I do want to clarify next is why the sun is here in your challenge. All right, so the sun, it has to do with this lack of clarity, or it has to do with you having utter clarity and then not actually following through with what you know you need to do in order to line up with your true self. Now, all right, the Ace of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords is popping out of the deck for your challenge. So I feel with this here, there's a new avenue for you in the physical realm, okay? And it has to do with lining up with that true self. The Knight of Swords as well. I mean, you have all this Knight energy and it's in your challenge. So a lot of you may be having fear of like, what are people or what am I myself going to think of me if I do this? Because the Knight of Swords is someone here in your challenge. It's like a lot of you probably already know what you have to do. But then it's like this fear of like, well, what if it's a little bit too reckless, or what if, you know, it puts something at jeopardy? But yeah, you have the Five of Wands, which has to do with other people here, Virgo. So I don't know. I don't even know what this is about, Virgo. All I can tell you is be very excited about your future because there's good things in it. The Spirit is putting here the King of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Star in your advice. So definitely a renewal. Be willing to try something new and do something that your future self will thank you for. So with that being said, Virgo, I'm going to conclude this reading. I hope you enjoyed it. This is the Autistic Mystic